Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Around the Bases for the Couch Coach. We got a special episode because we got a special guest today. Derek, say hi to the people for us.
Hello, everyone.
Derek, how do you feel? You excited to be on the show today? You feel honored? Because you should feel honored.
I do feel honored because this is the first time I'm actually on a podcast that I'm not doing.
You want to plug? Whoa, you should go ahead. Go ahead and plug your podcast then. You
Shameless
just want
plug,
to
bro.
throw it
Let's
around.
go.
Oh, I do
All
a
right,
podcast.
all right. So I got Derek's Discussions, which is on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, also on YouTube. Have an Instagram for that. Make sure to go follow that. I have other podcasts that I do, but I don't really post on those anymore because that's just kind of my ranting. And let's be honest, nobody wants to hear that anymore.
Tell us a little bit what your podcast is about, Derek.
All right, so
You can't
Derek's
just say you got one.
Discussions.
Not tell us what. I mean, what's going to make me
Yeah,
want to
let's
listen?
go. We need a little info.
So Derek's Discussions is two parts. First part, basically getting to know people. Pretty much it's just talking sports. So basically I have people, whether they either watch sports or whether they are sports, trying to get into the sports industry or they're athletes. So pretty much all these people that come on know something about sports before going on, basically just talk about their background and kind of their story of why sports are so impactful for them. And then kind of the second part, depending on what the athlete is or what the person likes per se. We talk about sports. It's either NFL, NHL, like basically any sport. That's basically up to the guest, and I kind of go with it. Usually episodes are around an hour. Sometimes they go longer. Sometimes they go shorter. I've had 30 episodes so far. Every episode is uploaded on Thursday. Things will be changing for season 3 because I have too many guests and I need to get them on as soon
Oh,
as
big man.
possible because hey, I have enough guests till November and I got to get them on. So I got to start to push things up a little bit.
All right, shameless plug here before we start talking to baseball. New podcast coming this week. It's called Derek's Buddies. Me, Jimmy, Derek, talking about the life of Derek and what it's like to be short and all the challenges it presents.
Now that's an episode I'll tune into. That's
That's
something
a
I got to check
must
out.
watch.
I'll tell you what though, now that I know this, that there's multiple seasons, I mean, I know what I'm doing with my weekend off. I'm spending my weekend binging Derek's Discussions.
Get
Can't
the
wait.
popcorn out.
All right, well, gentlemen, let's get into it. We're here to talk some baseball. So obviously, I think we're 2 weeks away from the official season start time. Guys are going to be attending camp. We got pitchers and catchers going in pretty soon. And not long after that, spring training. And next thing you know, it's going to be March 30th, opening day, right? March 30th is opening day this year?
Yeah, I think it's March 30th.
Yeah, March
Yeah.
30th. So opening day on March 30th. So a lot of questions. Obviously, a lot of teams made some improvements. Some guys lost, some teams lost some players. There's a lot of topics we can go through about what teams we're looking at, what storylines we're looking at. There's one I want to start with today that I think is pretty interesting. I think one of the more interesting teams from last season was the Cleveland Guardians, right? I remember, Zach, in our class last year, we were sitting there looking at the roster on opening day. We're like, who are these guys?
Who the hell is Stephen Kwan, bro?
Who the hell is Stephen Kwan? I remember saying that. We were like, who the hell is this guy? Next thing you know, Stephen Kwan has a great season, and these guys are going to the playoffs. They got Andres Jimenez doing great. Ahmed Rosario had a reawakening. I want to ask you guys, they were a playoff team, obviously, last year. They put up a great fight against the Yankees. They almost came out on top. What do you guys see the Cleveland Guardians doing this year? Do you think they could take that next step and, win the division again and make a serious push in the playoffs, or is it they're still kind of a gimmicky team?
They should win that division. That's the worst division in baseball, I think, as of right now on paper.
Yeah.
You got if you look around them, almost by default, you just look around. The Tigers, they're not there yet. The Royals got Vinny Pasquantino, but they need
Nice.
some time. They need some time. The Tigers are in a bad shape. I just read something today. I don't know why Tiger stuff's popping on my Twitter feed. I don't need that for the rest of the year. But Tigers have the worst ranked farm system, and they might be the worst ranked team in baseball too. So I don't know how you. That's a mess. The Royals, there's not much there. The Twins, they got Correa back. That's nice. They have Buxton, who's always injured, and they don't really have a rotation. And then you look at the White Sox, and 2 years ago, dude, remember I was sitting on this podcast picking the White Sox to go to the World Series, and now
Me too. Yeah.
they could bounce back. They have a ridiculous amount of talent. If they stay healthy, they should compete with the Guardians. But when you have the Guardians, you got Shane Bieber and Tristan McKenzie at the top of that rotation. Rosario and Jimenez, that's a great middle infield. This is a Jose Ramirez love podcast. Me and you, Connor, are all about Jose Ramirez. He is
Love him. That's our guy.
incredibly underrated. Love that he's in Cleveland. They signed Josh Bell, kind of underrated. Dude
Yeah.
tormented the Mets in the playoffs. Josh Naylor rocks the baby. He's gonna hit some bombs from the DH spot. They have a solid outfield core. I mean, they got the pieces. They should. Josh Bell's underrated. They made some catching upgrades. They got the pieces that could. They're better than they were last year. The challenge is when you get to the playoffs, do they have enough to beat the Yankees or the Astros? Time will tell. As of now, I would say they kind of overachieved last year. I think they can get back to that point. I don't think they'll get past that point.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
I completely.
Yeah, go ahead there. You can take it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think when you look at this Cleveland Guardians team, it seems like they're kind of similar in the fact of the Baltimore Orioles. Nobody expected them to be as good as they are. I feel like they'll be good in a couple of years. I think there's still development, but the only concern I have for them is I think at the deadline they might make moves. Depending on where they are. I know Ahmed Rosario is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Shane Bieber is going to be a free agent coming up. It seems like they're kind of at a crossroads of I don't know if they'll try to re-sign those guys or if they'll kind of try to sell those pieces and kind of be more financially, budget kind of more like other teams like the Rays and the A's where they trade guys right before they hit free agency. That's kind of got to be the decision the Guardians make. But I think the Guardians in a good spot. I think they're a couple years away to make true contention of trying to, make a run in the playoffs. I think they're kind of get to the playoffs and then get out right in the first round.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point with what they could do at buy or sell at the deadline. I think like if they're falling apart, they don't really look like they can win the division. I think for sure Shane Bieber's going to be gone. And listen, Bieber might be potentially gone anyway. I think there's a real good shot of that. He doesn't really seem like he's happy there, and he's been there his whole career, right? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, he's been there his whole career.
Yeah, so he might want to go to a team that's got money, looking to spend and looking to win right now. I could totally see that. But I think to Zach on your point of like what they have and can that push them over the hump in the postseason, like their infield I like a lot, like especially with Jimenez, really good young talent. Ahmed Rosario's been good this past year, J Ram. But like in the outfield, outside of Stephen Kwan, they don't really have much, like especially offensively. Like Miles Straw, he's good defensively. He's not bad, but like he doesn't really bring you much to plate. So
We can't forget Oscar Gonzalez coming up that
oh,
SpongeBob.
that's true. That's true. I am forgetting Oscar. That's
But
a good
again, we hadn't heard about him to the playoffs, so I don't know if that was a fluke or that's something that's sustainable. But still, they're young. They're crazy young. So now that they've had time to develop, we'll see if they can take the next step. It will be interesting every year. If you ask me to like make playoff projections right now, I feel like I'd pick the exact same teams that made the playoffs last
Mhm.
year, and
Mhm.
that just doesn't happen in professional sports.
Right.
So somebody's going to come out of nowhere. Could that division be it? Maybe it's the Twins. Maybe they're kind of sneaky with Pablo Lopez there now. Carlos Correa's back. If Buxton can stay healthy, which is highly unlikely, maybe. But it's the Guardians to lose. They should be the favorites. They got the best manager in the division, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, no doubt. And speaking of divisions, like who's going to take first place and all that, I want to ask you guys too about the Seattle Mariners. They're a team I think that are super deadly. They added Teoscar Hernandez, and I mean, you got that outfield. Teoscar, Kelnick, and Julio Rodriguez is absolutely deadly. Like that is one of the best outfields in baseball, I think. At least from a all around perspective of them being really talented defensively and having the abilities to plate. I want to ask you guys: do you think that there's a shot that they could dethrone the Astros at first place?
There's a shot. I wouldn't bet on it, but there's a shot. They also added AJ Pollock. That's a
Yep.
sneaky good insurance policy if Kelnick stinks. Colton Wong's in the infield now playing some second base. So there's definitely a shot. I would be a little shocked still just because the Astros signed Jose Abreu. Their lineup's even better than it was last season. Their pitching staff lost Justin Verlander, but Framber Valdez will take the #1 spot. And apparently they got some top prospect who has identical mechanics to Justin Verlander, who's supposed to be the next Justin Verlander. So they're a machine like that. But you would feel like maybe without the top gun in Houston, this is the time for the Mariners to step up. Jeremy Pena is going to become one of the most overrated players in baseball quickly, just because he had a ridiculous run in the postseason as a rookie. And so now I'm seeing some shortstop rankings where this dude's in the top 6 or 7 of shortstops, which that's talk about some overreactions to some moments. So it could happen. I think all three of us are rooting for it to happen. I just don't know if it will.
Yeah.
I think that division, you look at the Astros and the Mariners, I think both teams are going to take a little bit of a step back because of the additions of the Rangers and the Angels. I think the Mariners, it depends on Julio Rodriguez. I think Julio Rodriguez, if he takes another step forward, I think the Mariners are in excellent shape. Trying to dethrone the Astros, it also kind of depends on if the starting pitcher Logan Gilbert can get going as well. I think that's a key factor for the Mariners. He had like a 3.96 ERA around there, and pretty much nobody saw him coming. And then you mentioned Forrest Whitley, the top prospect for the Astros. That's kind of going to be interesting to see what he does. I like his mechanics, but the last couple of years they've always said he's going to be in the majors, and he just hasn't done it. So it seems like he's kind of that situation. If you look at the Yankees, where all these prospects are just kind of in AAA and they don't have a spot on the roster, so it should be interesting to see what happens there. But I really do like the AL West. I see four teams, and all four of the five besides the A's having a chance to make the playoffs. Obviously, they're not all going to make it, but I think they all have a chance. I think the Angels need some luck. I think the Rangers just gotta like pray that everyone stays healthy and that somehow one of their young players just blossoms into an absolute superstar. And then I think the Mariners and the Astros are just going to continue to, be at that top level and probably be in contention for winning the division yet again.
Yeah, to that point too, I wasn't even talking about Forrest. I meant Hunter Brown, so I forgot about Forrest. So yeah, they have multiple high-end pitching prospects too to come up with those guys. But to that, I do kind of like the Rangers and Angels. I think they're kind of sneaky. The Rangers rotation has a lot of high-end potential, but a ton of risk. I kind of like what the Angels did. I'm kind of a big Corey Seager guy now, especially with the shift ban. I saw some stat. He was one of the top 5 most guys affected by shift grounding into the second base. So if that spot's open, he could be in line for a big ton of year. The Angels, it's always hard to like get too hype about them, but their lineup and pitching stats are just better than they've really ever been in Trout and Ohtani's tenures there. You add Brandon Drury, that's an upgrade. Gio Urshela, that's an upgrade. You add Hunter Renfroe, who you got to put a side by side of him and Mike Trout. They look identical. They're literally the same exact person. Those are all upgrades. The pitching staff, they added Tyler Anderson, who we all liked, kind of a cheap deal. There's some upgrades there. They should theoretically be in playoff contention. I want to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not going to be a Rangers hater just because DeGrom's there. Like, that does really bother me. But the Angels, I'll be rooting for them just as much as the Mariners. I mean, anyone but the Astros. It's kind of like this thing with like the Chiefs or like Georgia. Like 2 years ago, I liked you because you were the up and comer. Now you're like the main dog. I want you knocked off.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you guys brought up the Rangers too, because I was actually going to ask you guys about that. But yeah, I think right now, Derek, I think you mentioned this. Now I think is the time that if the Mariners do try to overtake, I think the time is now, because the Astros, I mean, still a powerful team, still a great team. But like they are going in some form of flux. Like again, they're still really good, but they're losing some of their veteran players. They're making change. I mean, like Jose Abreu is still a great addition, but they are losing some of their veteran players that they've had. They've lost Verlander, who was their ace last year. So I think the time is now really, because I mean, we all know this. Every year, injuries are going to happen. No opening day roster is the same as the roster that starts in the postseason. So I think that there's a shot if that something happens to one of these Astro players and one of them go down, or some guy in the pitching rotation goes down, a serious shot there, I think, for the Mariners to kind of really jump in and take the reins and see what they could do, especially because they put up a really good competition last year for the most part, especially when they played the Astros. I know the Astros, they swept them 3-0, right? In the
Yeah, but they weren't. I think all 3 games were by 1 run.
Yeah, it was. I mean, one of them was like the 16-inning game.
And Robbie Ray came in for God knows what reason and gave up that bomb to Yordan. That was, first of all, I mean, I'm not like an Astro hater like you guys are probably because you're a Yankees fan. That Yordan shot was just absolutely majestic. That moment was freaking awesome. Well, it was
cool. It was
cool, but like obviously bringing in your starting pitcher right there, Robbie Ray throws up fire fastball, but an absolute meatball right over the plate. Comes in at 100 right down the middle. Yordan's gonna send that to Mars. So no, but that was absolutely majestic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're gonna take a break in a couple minutes here, but real quick, I want to ask you guys too. Let's jump over to the AL East now. 2 teams there that kind of, I mean, there's really three teams. I'm not going to mention the Red Sox because I don't think they're going to do much of anything this year, and I could be totally wrong. But the Blue Jays, who a lot of people had as World Series contenders and favorites to win the division, and the Tampa Bay Rays, who have been really great in the past, but they were ridden with injuries, both disappointed last year. They obviously both made the playoffs, but both were knocked out in the first round, didn't have the seasons they wanted. Which team do you think is poised to have a better comeback heading into this year?
Derek, you can take this one, sir.
I'm gonna go with the Toronto Blue Jays. You look at Jose Barrios' career; he's had one good season, and then he's had a bad season. Last season, he had an ERA of 5.08 around there, and it just seemed like nothing was going right for Barrios. I think he's gonna have a comeback year. Manoah, I think, is gonna take a step back. I think Gosman's still gonna be, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of weird. They made that trade for Hernandez. They wanted left-handed bats. They've made some moves. It seems like they're kind of interesting to see what's going to happen at the catcher position. They made a trade for Dalton Varsho, which personally, if you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks outfielders, I don't like Varsho as much as the other guys because he had one good season. He batted around 300, 303, something like that. And he's like a decent player, but he's nothing like too special. He's got good bat to ball skills, but he doesn't have much speed. He's kind of a catcher outfielder, so he's in that role of, is he really that good? I like their catchers though. I think Alejandro Kirk is definitely a great catcher, above average hitter, definitely someone that I like. He's not that great behind the plate, but he's a great hitter. And then you talk around the diamond, I like Bo Bichette, but I think he's a little bit overrated. I like Matt Chapman. I think the slack that he gets for his hitting ability is absurd. I get it. He batted like 200, but like 200 playing his exceptional third base isn't terrible. It's not cutting it. I think he'll have a comeback year. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys who had down years last year, but I think if they got a guy in Cody Bellinger, I think that would be a lot better than have gotten Dalton Varsho. But I think the pieces that they have in place at this moment, I think are good enough for them to, make a comeback and be better than they were. I mean, they did still win 92 games. It just didn't seem like the Toronto Blue Jays were like even relevant for most of the season.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I think both of these teams are better. Sticking with the Blue Jays, though, if you do look at that rotation with Manoah, Gosman, they added Chris Bassett. That's kind of a sneaky addition. In the Teoscar trade, there's kind of a Rays-like move. They traded Teoscar, who only had 1 year left in his contract, for Eric Swanson, very underrated reliever, had crazy numbers last year with Seattle. Kevin Kiermaier, they signed also to play outfield. He has no bat, but he's a pretty good defensive outfielder. I kind of like Varsho a lot more than Derek does. He had 27 bombs last year, had 16 stolen bases. I think it's kind of a sneaky thing. Their catcher, they traded from a surplus, too, to get him. They traded Gabriel Moreno, one of the top prospects in baseball, because they have Kirk and Danny Jansen, who both might be two of the top 10 catchers. They're sneaky. It's hard to trust them. It's hard to trust anyone after you put so much stock into them like last year. But the hype is kind of off them a little bit. They have a very talented roster. And then you look at the Rays. I think the Rays have kind of a sneaky offseason. Maybe the best thing for the Rays this year is Tyler Glasnow's coming back. And you put him in a rotation with Shane McClanahan. They signed Zach Eflin from the Phillies. Sneaky move. Sneaky move. Drew Rasmussen, that rotation's top 5 in baseball. And then Wander Franco's not healthy last year. He'll be back. The steam kind of fell off him just because he was hurt last year. But he's going to come back. They got an electric bullpen. You probably haven't heard of half the names that are in their bullpen just because it's the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah. They'll have 5 new names you never heard of that'll come through and be like postseason hitters. Randy Arozarena is still one of the better outfielders in baseball. Brandon Lowe, he hits. Harold Ramirez, you got some guys in this team. They're not a ton of stars. Wander could be that star. They're scary. Their main fear for you guys is they always beat the Yankees. You don't ever want to play them. They always beat the Yankees. They find a way to beat the Yankees. And that pitching staff is giant. If you don't want to see that in a 3-game series. That's the combination of McClanahan, Glasnow, and then Rasmussen or Eflin in a 3-game series is right now probably on paper the scariest 3 you can throw at someone. Maybe the Yankees are in that mix, but I would want to face those Rays 3.
Yeah, I think just to go about both these teams, I think the Blue Jays to me feel very much like the Chargers of the NFL, just because I feel like they have all the talent there, but there's always going to be that one guy or two that gets injured, and there's going to be a lot of guys that just don't perform. right? Like you mentioned it, Derek, Matt Chapman, right? Great player. He was a great player, especially when he was in Oakland, but just
Like
last year
those
he didn't have it.
offensive numbers, yeah.
Yeah, just not there. They have all the names though. That's why it reminds me of just like the Chargers. They have all the names, they
Sure.
have all the players, and you look at them and you're like, what? Where's the hole? Where's the hole on this roster? There's none. But they always find a way to drop it. You'll have a guy like Vladdy have a great year. Maybe one of the pitchers will have a really good year, like Gossman or something. But they always find a way to not come through. And then as for the Rays, I think I like the Rays a lot more actually, just because I feel like the Rays, it's the opposite. You look at them and you're like, who are half these players? But they're just always a gritty team. Kevin Cash is a great manager. The pitching is always great. They always find ways to just stay alive and win games, just like the Cleveland Guardians. They're pretty much the same team, I think, in a lot of ways. Real quick, though, before we jump into anything else, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thanks. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us again, and welcome back. Now, right around the corner, we got a very special event in baseball, in the world of baseball, one might say. It's the World Baseball Classic. Zach, let us know what's going on.
Dude, yeah, we got the World Baseball Classic starting March 9th. The cool thing is these teams are playing exhibition games against MLB team. I know the Mets are playing Team Nicaragua, so every team's playing someone. The Giants are playing Team USA, so some fun exhibition before, and then we're getting right into it. The World Baseball Classic. It's fun. It means real baseball is coming faster. You don't have to wait till March 30th, first week in March. And Team USA and the Dominican are two powerhouses. Team USA kind of stunned everyone when they won last time because we're not traditionally a baseball country compared to these other countries. So it should be fun. It doesn't have the hype of the World Cup, but we all love baseball more than we love soccer. We all don't love soccer. We all love baseball. And so this is hype. These lineups, these projected lineups. I mean, you're never this is all-star level stuff. Team USA's projected lineup right here. This team is no joke. Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Paul Goldschmidt, Mike Trout, Nolan Arenado, Pete Alonso, Kyle Tucker, JT Realmuto, Tim Anderson. You got Jeff McNeil coming off the bench. I mean, this is just a loaded team. Your pitchers, you have Clayton Kershaw, Nasty Nestor, Merrill Kelly's kind of underrated. Cedric Mullins is coming off the bench. Kyle Schwarber is coming off the bench. So is Will Smith. I mean, that's the best of the best. The Dominican, it's even crazier. That's an all-star lineup. Starling Marte, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Vlad Guerrero, Rafael Devers, Jose Ramirez, Jeremy Pena, Gary Sanchez, and Julio Rodriguez. That is.
Dude, one of those is not like the other. And I can tell you what position he plays.
Dude.
What's Gary Sanchez doing on that squad? Are you kidding me?
Good for him, bro. He's going to carry him. With that lineup, that's 8 all-stars right there, and Gary Sanchez. With that lineup, Gary Sanchez is hitting a bomb off Nasty Nestor to win it for
Oh my God! If he does, I'd be pretty upset. That's all I ask, Nestor. Just don't give up a bomb to Gary, please.
So I mean, that's fun. Like, I'll be rooting for Team USA, but like, I want to see that combination of 9 dudes and the Dominican playing together. And I gotta keep scrolling down here because there's some other sick rosters. But yeah, what do you guys like about the World Baseball Classic?
Well, I mean, I'm just excited to see this matchup eventually stack up against each other. What I find funny about the World Baseball Classic is like we're all talking about like USA and the Dominican League, the Dominican team. But like then there's like someone like Team Canada, which I think like isn't like Freddie Freeman playing for Team Canada or something like that.
Dude, he might be. I gotta look at that. Yeah.
Dude, I think it's like him or like someone random is like the only person of like from the MLB playing for like Team Canada. And then there's like I think like 1 or 2 guys are playing for like Team Korea. Like there's always like some stragglers, which I always think is like so funny because it's like, what are you doing?
And then Team Puerto Rico, they're starting infield. Javi Baez, Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor. They got Seth Lugo, Marcus Stroman, Jose Barrios, and Edwin Diaz pitching. Kike Hernandez is on the roster. So is Jose Miranda. So they got some big leaguers too. That I remember the last World Baseball Classic that Edwin Diaz struck some guy out and they threw down to second. Javi Baez had the no-look tag that went viral and it's been like played on a loop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, stuff like the energy in this stuff is kind of crazy when someone hits a home run. Like, I remember David Wright hit a home run in the World Baseball Classic. Everyone was calling him like Captain America and stuff. So, there's the Dominican, bro. I mean, come on. That is ridiculous. That roster, I'd even mention their pitchers. They got Christian Javier, Wandy Peralta. Their backups are Eloy Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario, Gene Segura, Ketel Marte. I mean, this is
Ridiculous.
like that team would win 130 games. Sandy Alcantara, Emmanuel Clase. I mean, top five
That
closer,
pitching is ridiculous. That's what
best
That's what the
starting
American
pitcher.
team doesn't have, dude.
Did they have the Astros two best pitchers? I mean, what the hell? That's fun to watch.
I just wanna let you know, I just double checked, looked it up. Here's who's headlining Team Canada. 3 MLB superstars. Kel Quantrill, Tyler O'Neill, and maybe Freddie Freeman. We don't know that for sure yet, I think.
Dude,
That's
we got
illegal.
some MLBers on some other teams. Mets prospect Mark Vientos is playing for Team Nicaragua. They don't discount Team Israel, bro. We got some guys in Team Israel. Jock Peterson and Kevin Pillar star Team Israel.
Wait, really?
Apparently, that's what.
Dude, what? No way, dude. That's so random.
And their manager is former MLB player Ian Kinsler with hitting coach Kevin Youkilis.
Dude, Kevin Euclid, dude. That's so dude, that is actually that might be like the most random pairing of like baseball individuals I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and then Team Venezuela, Salvador Perez, Jose Altuve, Andres Jimenez, Luis Ariz, Pablo Lopez, Jose Luzarado, Martin Perez.
Dude, that's kind of a nasty team. That's a good team.
That's not a bad team. They got some speed. Let's see what other countries got some MLB
I
players.
think Japan has some names too, because I know they
I
have
know.
Lars Nootbaar.
Is Shohei playing?
Oh yeah, with Lars Nootbaar, that stupid guy.
Dude, new. Dude, I love Lars Nootbaar.
No, I sent you the
And
video.
Yoshida's playing too.
Lars was hitting like naked. Remember we were talking about that last time?
Wait, did you say you sent me that video?
Yeah, I might have. It was like he was like hitting like his boxers. It was just sus. It was unnecessary.
I
No,
kind of remember that, but I
we
don't
got
know.
Team Great Britain. I know that Yu Darvish is pitching for Team Japan. I know that Senga is not playing. He opted back out because of he wanted to like get accustomed to like playing in big leagues, so he wants to stay for spring training. Brian Cashman reportedly told Luis Severino he is not allowed to play, which
Yeah, I wonder why,
which is
dude.
which is fair since he'll probably just stub his toe in the first inning and be out for the season. Um, let's see. So yeah, dude. I mean, this is awesome. Tommy Edman is on Team South Korea. Uh,
Oh yeah, he's one of the ones that I was like, this random guy just goes to a random like other country team.
dude, Australia. There's Australia. There's China, Colombia.
See,
So yeah,
I want to see a team like Australia upset and like shock the world with a
dude,
bunch of random Australian guys.
I'm all for that. I mean, that's.
That would
I
be
mean,
sick, dude. The land down under, ripping
dude,
off some
I
dingers.
want Team Israel to just come knock some people out.
Jock Peterson.
Team Jack Peterson, Kevin Pillar hitting some bomb. They got some pitchers from MLB. Garrett Stubbs, Phillies backup catcher. Yeah, bro. I mean, this is fine. I mean,
Very
I can't stop looking at the Dominican Republic's roster.
yeah, because it's
It's
insane. It's
it's
so
on. I actually can't wait to watch that now. I'm actually way more hyped than I was. I never really looked into this. Team USA, the pitchers clearly decided they did not want to waste their arms. And well, I'm sure all the top pitchers you think of have played for Team USA at one point or another. So they
guarantee that
probably
Wayno has like an elite performance.
yeah, Adam Wainwright starting against Sandy Alcantara.
Oh,
This all-star lineup of the Dominican Republic's putting up 12 in the first inning, thanks to 4 Gary Sanchez grand slams.
dude, don't disrespect Wayno like that, man. He's a goat. Come on.
No, he was part of one of my worst sports memories. He deserves disrespect.
Derek, you're a
Carlos,
little quiet there, man. What do you feel about
I
this?
love Wayno. I love Wayno.
are you a Lars Nootbaar guy?
I'm a Lars Nootbaar guy, but I'm a huge Tommy Edman guy. I'm
Tommy
psyched.
Edman.
He's gonna lead. He's gonna lead Korea.
He's one of the most overrated players in baseball.
Just stop.
Pretty sure that's a guy named Francisco Lindor.
No, you want to talk
Shortstop
about
for the
that right
Mets.
now? Thanks for bringing up Francisco Lindor. I actually appreciate that. It's a perfect segue to the fact that his WAR through the first 7 seasons of his career is 10 points higher than Derek Jeter's was.
That's great. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
You want to talk
How many
about
rings? How many rings has he got? How many
You
rings?
want to talk about overrated baseball?
How many rings? How many
You want to
rings?
talk about Derek Jeter?
Yeah.
Rings
Derek
is a
Jeter's the
team
GOAT.
stat.
Francisco Lindor will never be considered the GOAT. I don't care what his WAR is.
Derek Jeter's not considered the GOAT. No one considers Derek Jeter the GOAT. He's not. What are we talking about?
What do you mean? They're considered the GOAT.
What?
The GOAT of what?
Hi.
Go to shortstops.
No.
Who?
No, dude, I'm looking up shortstop WAR all the time. We're set on this right now.
Dude, oh my God.
One of the best shortstops of
WAR
his
is such
decade.
a...
WAR is the perfect stat. It combines everything into one.
Yeah, but it's something that, people like to use as an excuse to devalue someone. Jeter's the GOAT.
Right,
Rings, clutch. You can't measure clutch with WAR. Jeter was clutch.
Derek Jeter has the 10th best shortstop WAR of all time.
Who's higher?
Honus Wagner, Cal
Lindor
Ripken.
is
Oh,
not
GOAT.
higher.
You're right. Honus Wagner.
Cal Ripken. I mean, come on, Cal Ripken.
Cal
Well,
Ripken's-
A-Rod's kind of listed as a shortstop.
I think he's more
I
third base.
highly doubt you guys have heard of any of the guys listed behind that. They're all
No,
from-
go ahead. Go ahead.
John Lloyd, you heard of him? He played in 1906.
Who?
John
John
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
He played in
I've heard the name before.
1906. Willie Wells. He played in 1924. Archie Vaughn, 1932.
I've actually heard of that guy before.
Jeter's a scrub. He couldn't even be at the best
I
in
have.
1906. You heard of Luke Appling?
Oh, that's my guy. Yeah, I know
Robin
him. I got his jersey in my closet. Let me go get it.
Yeah, you get that Luke Appling jersey out. Yeah, so no, Jeter's not. I don't know. You can call him the GOAT. I don't know what he's going to be the GOAT of.
Well, so out of all those guys, though, I mean, we only really knew Honus Wagner, Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken.
And I mean, you don't really count A-Rod. So, I mean, if you want.
You got kicked off.
Yeah.
The top 5 of the people that we know.
Top three. Top 3.
The A-Rod shortstop thing is funny. It's like all the people who were in our comment section on TikTok talking about how Carlos Correa is a better shortstop than Lindor. Correa was going to come to New York to play third base.
Yeah.
That already means he's not a better shortstop than Lindor. He was bowing out, similar to A-Rod and Jeter. Not that that was as much by choice, but still. Jeter's not – I don't know what Jeter's the GOAT of, but you'd be the GOAT of your minds. I mean, that's fine.
No, he is the GOAT, though.
He has the second most rings of any MLB player.
I don't care. Rings are a team sport.
3,000 hits.
Good for him. There's a lot of guys who have 3,000 hits.
He's got 3,000 hits, multiple rings, clutch moments, Mr. November. Come on, you almost can't equate it to how good he was.
He's a little overrated.
If you put him on the Kansas City Royals, he still would be a Hall of Famer.
Okay, that's if you put him on any team, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Right, that's why he's
That's
the GOAT.
the point. That's why he's the GOAT.
But if you
Most
put most
people you put on
baseball
a different team, you can't put.
Yeah, if you put Lindor on the
Hall of Famers,
Royals,
you
he's
put
not
on-
like one of the best shortstops.
Yes, he is. If you put Francisco Lindor on any team,
That's crap.
Francisco Lindor led baseball shortstops in WAR last year. He was a monster. He had 26 home runs. He had the most homers, the most RBIs, the highest WAR, Gold Glover.
Why he has a higher WAR? Because he's got good players around him.
He was good in
WAR if you have
Cleveland.
decent players around
Protected.
you.
He's
smart
protected
one.
by Pete.
He's
He's got
protected
Pete.
in the lineup.
Yeah.
He carried Cleveland.
At second base.
He carried Cleveland.
Yeah, he was good. He was great in Cleveland, but he's not as good as it Met.
Team Puerto Rico, by the way.
Yeah.
Team Puerto Rico. That's like the Mets right there. The former Mets. Seth Lugo, Carlos Correa, Marcus Stroman. He played for
I like how you lumped Correa into the former Met conversation. He was in for like not even 2 weeks. No, that doesn't even count.
Marcus Stroman played for Team USA last time he was playing for Puerto Rico. I mean, what even
This guy's a clown show, dude. Get him out of here.
And then Seth Lugo. I mean, this is team former Mets. Plus, you got Edwin Diaz and Francisco Lindor, the best shortstop in baseball. I mean, that's just
You're stupid.
I'm
He's
stupid.
not even the best shortstop in New
The
York.
better shortstop. I'll give Trey Turner's the only argument I will hear.
He's not even the best shortstop in New York. Goes by. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint who that is. 3 letters.
Yeah, IKF.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, you know.
Oh, it's a monster.
He's the GOAT.
You want to talk about IKF right now?
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love to.
Want to talk about it? Bring up those stats. That
Dude, no,
I
he's
don't even-
terrible. He's got it. He's got to be gone.
majestic home run he hit in Fenway last year.
Oh, that was all, dude. That was awesome.
That came out of nowhere.
Dude, that and that was the IKF game because he had a hit with an RBI, he had a home run, and he made some like really sick defensive play in that game too. It was crazy. Or no, he had a bunt. He had a bunt RBI, and then he had a home run,
Excellent.
and he had like a good defensive play. It was the IKF game.
Yeah, the IKF game.
We all know where we were for the IKF game.
No, you know what game I was at last year?
What game was that?
This is actually 2 years ago.
Okay.
Aroldis Chapman. Hey, do you guys know
We're
what
talking
team,
2 years ago. Aroldis Chapman's not even on the team.
do you know what
forget
team
about
Aroldis
that.
Chapman's on right now? Do you know what
Forget
team he
about
just signed with?
Yeah, isn't he the
Yeah,
Royals?
Royals.
Why is he on the Kansas City Royals?
I don't know why the Royals even sign him.
Why are the Royals bringing in Aroldis Chapman on there? I went to
They
a
got
game.
nothing better to do. They suck anyways. Why
I
not
went-
add someone? You got
I
money to spend?
I went to the Yankees Mets game last year. Domingo Germán outdueled Max Scherzer.
Oh, that was one of my favorite moments this season. That was
Big Dan
awesome.
Vogelback hit a monster. My friend's puking because he's drunk, getting kicked out of Yankee Stadium. So I missed the ending. It was just a disastrous day. But one of my favorite moments of the season was when we went to the Royals, who you both just talked so much crap about. I saw them hit 3 home runs off Garrett Cole in 1 inning. I mean,
Yeah, you know what else you saw? You saw them lose.
I've actually never
You
been.
saw
I
Aaron
don't-
Judge hit a grand slam. That's what you saw.
I don't actually recall that part happening. I just remember the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, conveniently, yeah.
It was actually. I remember some taunts coming my way with some disrespectful language.
Oh, that was great because you wore a Mets jersey and you're over there jumping up and down like an idiot. And
Dude.
they're like, "Get out of here, bozo! It's not even your team."
Dude, I remember we put a bet out on Hunter Dozier, and he was just absolute garbage. Went like 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. It didn't even
Dude,
make
you're like, yeah, I hate Hunter Dozier now. He's
Dude,
like,
I tweeted out, like, I was actually going through my Twitter the other day, and it was like my 2 least favorite baseball players, Hunter Dozier and Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, by the way, in our sports analytics class, I started defending Derek.
Whoa, no, you didn't. No,
Dude, I
you didn't.
did.
He did.
I
He
did.
did.
People were.
He did.
It's
I
almost,
was not even defending Garrett Cole. He was.
It's just like I want him to be the
Insane.
guy I hate. I want people off this bandwagon. I'm like Stephen A. and the Cowboys. I want to be the guy who hates on Garrett Cole. Everyone else has got to get out of here. Garrett Cole. See, you don't hate on guys who suck. You hate on guys who are good and fall apart.
So Garrett Cole's good? Garrett Cole's good?
I mean, that doesn't pain me to admit. He's not the best pitcher in baseball. He's not the best pitcher in New
So he's
York.
good though. You've never even said he was good before.
He makes $324 million. That's not by accident.
Yeah, because he's great.
Because he's above average.
He's above that. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, you could say it. He's awesome.
I like MLB Network put out their rankings for best
Oh.
pitchers in baseball.
It was brutal.
Garrett Cole was not in the top 10. Carlos Rodon was number 3. I mean, come on,
Sandy's at like 5 or 6, I think. Like,
Carlos Rodon is not the 3rd best pitcher.
Corbin Burns was 1.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Sandy Alcantara. If you don't have him at number 1 right now, it's just ridiculous. Or Jacob DeGrom was at number 9. Jacob DeGrom and Sandy Alcantara were the 2 best pitchers in
Scherzer
baseball.
wasn't on the list either.
No, so I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah, that was bad.
There's just some, I don't know that those rankings, man. The one Brian Kenny talking about how Lindor is the 7th best shortstop in baseball. He was like, by my metric, they had 3 sabermetric guys on there talking about how Lindor is number 1. All of them number 1. Brian Kenny, number 7. All right, bro. I'll remember
he
that.
knows something you don't. How about that?
Nah, Kenny metrics is not better than Zach metric.
Metrics.
Zach metrics rules. You want to know what Zach metrics thinks about this?
I would love to know. I would love to.
MLB season. I will tell you.
Okay.
You already know. The Yankees are going to win the AL East.
Okay.
They're going to advance to the World Series.
Okay.
Game 7 of the World
They're
Series.
going to the World Series?
Game 7 of the World Series. 1-1. Top 9. Garrett Cole comes into pitch. 5 home runs hit off him.
Garrett Cole comes in the top of the 9th of the game
5 home
7.
runs.
3.
What are we doing?
Francisco Lindor hits a home run. Pete Alonso hits a home run on the 2nd pitch. Jeff McNeil hits a home run on the 3rd pitch. Francisco Alvarez hits a home run on the 4th pitch. Max Scherzer decides he wants to come up and bat. He hits a home run off Garrett Cole. Mets circle the bases, win a championship in Yankee Stadium.
All right. Now allow me to tell you what's actually going to go down. Here's what's going to go down. Okay.
We're both going to miss the playoffs.
Here's what's going to happen. No, we're going to be in the World Series Game 7. Mets are up right now. They got a lead of Say 4-2. Game 7, bottom of the ninth. We're in Yankee Stadium. We get a nice little swinging single from Anthony Rizzo. Next up, Aaron Judge. You're gonna intentionally walk him. He's the home run champ, right?
We're gonna put the tying run on base. Why are we putting
the tying run on base? Because Aaron Judge is just that. All right, so Aaron Judge walks. He's got a great eye.
He's not walking. Edwin Diaz isn't walking him.
Giancarlo Stanton comes out.
Judge?
Everyone's excited. Let me finish my story. Giancarlo Stanton comes out. Everybody's excited. He strikes out. That's all right. Next up comes up. We got Gleyber Torres strikes out.
No.
2 outs. Runner on first and second on the bottom line. Who comes up to bat? Isaiah, Tyner, Falefa. Edwin Diaz thinks he's got him on the ropes. IKF charges one to the short porch. It's gone! It's gone! Yankees win! Number 28!
You know what? I actually heard John Sterling's call. He said it was a fly out to right field. Mets won the World Series. Yankees go home.
He said the wrong call. That's believable. That's believable.
Yankees said it was caught. So
yeah. Well, gentlemen, I think
we went off the rails here.
We did. Is there anything else we were going to talk about today? Anything else anybody was thinking?
No, I think we got all the thoughts out there. We brought Derek on here to knock us off the rails, man.
I know. It's just his presence. The guy didn't even have to say much. It's just his presence here made me lose my mind.
Slug-loving, overrated Jeter face. He's like a bad defensive shortstop.
Derek, can you do me a favor?
Not in his prime. In his prime, he's an average to just below average defender.
The whole thing counts.
Nah, but he had a couple bad years.
But you look at the prime.
He kind of reshaped himself around like before 2009.
Once he got hurt, he was god awful.
Yeah, I mean he's god awful. You're right. I'm gonna clip that and put that on TikTok. Derek says Derek Jeter was god awful.
Once he was hurt.
Can't even hear you anymore, bro. They just muted you. They don't want to hear from you anymore.
No, Derek Jeter kind of fixed his defense before 2009, like from like in the 90s run and then like that 2009 era, he kind of like fixed his defense.
Don't worry. Next podcast, I'll bring someone on who agrees with my Jeter take.
Yeah, don't even bring on that bias. He's so biased.
He brings on. There was I'll talk about, since I'm disrespecting you guys. I'll talk. There was this article in Forbes talking about how Jeff McNeil was a bad value signing and how everything in Jeff McNeil's game is going the wrong direction. Did he just win the batting title last year? How does that make him going in the wrong direction? This is stupid Forbes. Stick to business. No one wants your sports. What is that?
I don't know, man. Could happen. Could go on a downswing.
A downswing means he comes in 5th in the batting title. Uh-oh.
That's how it starts, though, right? And the Mets don't win another chip, and then we're 2 years from now, and he's back.
He's Isaiah Connor Forever. Yeah, he's IKF.
Jeff McNeil is going to be the next DJ LeMahieu.
Whoa, come on.
Going down, because DJ is getting worse as he's aging. So
as he's olding,
every Yankee is getting a little worse. I actually remember this kid.
I disagree.
This kid named Derek the other day told me how, even though he's a Yankee fan, he can admit that Aaron Judge is a little overrated.
Judge is overrated.
This kid named Derek told me that the other day. I wonder what
better not be this kid Derek, because
I wonder what he's doing right now.
This guy Derek in here, he better not be talking about Shohei Ohtani deserves to be the MVP over Judge. That'd be crazy.
No. Judge deserved to get the MVP over
Shohei Ohtani's more valuable.
Yeah, but they didn't win last year. Judge actually carried the Yankees last year.
What did Judge win last year? What do you go?
But they made the playoffs. Like they were a good team.
Yeah, I forgot the Yankees. That's the Yankees hang banners when they make the playoffs.
No, well, coming from Met fan, let's relax.
When's the last time you guys made the World Series?
Mets fans were throwing a World Series party with Timmy Trumpet on the field, acting like they won the World Series. Oh, here comes Edwin Diaz. He's coming on the field. Woohoo! Oh, we're gonna lose the division to the Atlanta Braves again. What a season!
I have no comment. I may have been there the night.
You got no comment because it's true.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time the Yankees were in the World Series? I was 7.
09.
At least we didn't lose.
09.
Choke it away. Oh my goodness!
You choke it away every year. You guys have been in the playoffs every year, and you lose
you choked the division. You couldn't even make it to first place.
We didn't choke.
Then we got Joe Musgrove going out Game 3, throwing a gem.
He cheated, bro. He cheated.
That's crap. Oh, come on.
What do you guys? The Astros didn't cheat. Joe Musgrove did.
Oh, the Astros cheated.
Who cares, bro? They just use
It was just a little sunscreen. He was protected from the sun. That's all.
the Astros use their resources.
Use their resource. Cheating.
It's a resource.
Cheating is a resource. I mean, I guess.
It's a
If you look at
resource.
it that way, it's still not
A
fair.
resource.
Stupid.
Happens.
Yeah.
Ohtani
Unfortunately.
over Judge for this year's MVP. If you did that, that means basically every single season Ohtani would be in the running for MVP. He would win.
Yes.
If you wanted Ohtani, that's stupid. You can't just have one player win the MVP every freaking year. That's
Why not?
absurd.
He's the
I
most
agree.
valuable player in baseball.
It's a little absurd, though.
He's going to be the most valuable. You know what it's going to stand for next year? Mets value player, because that's what he's going to be on. He's going to be on the Mets.
He doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to come to the East Coast.
We $500, $1 billion
He'll go to
to change his mind pretty quick.
He's a man of value.
He'll go to the
He's a man of
Padres.
values.
He'll
He
go to
doesn't
the
want to play.
Padres. That's all they want to do is spend money. Go to the Padres.
No, he'll go to the Mariners. Watch. He'll
Dude.
jump out of nowhere.
Xander
Loki,
Bogaerts.
I thought he might go to the Mariners.
He might. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He's going to the Mets.
He's going Mariners.
Right?
It's
He's gonna be
Mariners.
he's gonna be a Dodger.
Yeah, watch. Actually, yeah, watch that.
Dodgers haven't spent a dime this offseason. He's gonna be a Dodger.
They're waiting.
There's another Japanese pitcher that's coming up next season in free agency. I think he'll probably go to the Dodgers.
They're
I
all
can't
going
remember
to
the guy's
Mets.
name.
The
It's
Mets
the
have a
21-year-old.
yeah. I know who
from
you're talking
Japan.
about. I know you're talking about. The Mets have a pipeline to all these guys. Billy Epler's the one who signed Ohtani. I'm telling you.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, before we conclude, I would just like to say, Darren Ruff is still on the New York Mets.
Where he belongs. Let's bring James McCann back too while we're at
Dude,
it.
I'm upset. We should have James McCann back.
We
You
should.
need at least. I mean, like the Yankees can get rid of Hicks and IKF, but you got to keep Donaldson. You got to keep one hated guy on the team at all times.
Yeah. One of
You
them's
can't
gonna stay.
Keep IKF.
I agree.
IKF gets the most hate. IKF, if I can remember correctly, based on the stats, he had the best batting average on the team with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, IKF actually had like not a bad. People just like hate him because his defense was bad, but like offensively, he actually wasn't bad.
Just
He's
put
a
him
third baseman.
Yeah, put him at third base. Have Peraza play some shortstop. There's no fine.
That's what I think. I think they should do is Rizzo, like Glaber and DJ switch, and then Peraza, and then IKF, and then DJ can switch with IKF too.
And then once Trey Sweeney comes up, he replaces IKF.
Or Volpe. Come on, Trey Sweeney's gone. They got to trade him.
No. Trey Sweeney at third and have
What was
Volpe play
that
second
noise,
base,
bro?
and you're trading. And you're going to trade Glaber Torres.
Yeah. Wait, what do you say they're going to trade, Derek?
Volpe plays second base, trade Torres for like reliever or whatever in the middle of the season this year, and Sweeney will play third base in a couple years, and then you can trade Roderick, the 17-year-old guy from the Dominican.
Dude, I actually heard Derek Jeter's coming out of retirement to play some shortstop. He wants to.
Dude, I wouldn't mind. He might be better
keep-
than what they have right now.
He wants to keep the war going down. He wants to keep the war going down.
He'd
He
still be
does a
better than
stupid
Francisco
war.
Lindor.
He doesn't need to come back out of.
He'd still be better than that stat patter in the New York Mets.
Damn, my bad. Francisco Lindor stat pattern. You know, the only goal in baseball is to win games. You know,
He stat pads. He doesn't win. It doesn't matter.
He stat pads.
Mets
All
are
right,
getting blown out, and he's hitting singles. What are we doing?
No, that's like Peter Alonso hit like 6 home runs last year when the Mets were down like 8. It's not like that fraud Aaron Judge who hits home runs 312 feet. Derek.
Stop.
Derek
Stop.
and
You know what's funny?
five-
You know what's funny you say that because I was cutting something at work the other day of Aaron
Yeah.
Judge, of his home runs and stuff. I can't tell you how many I read were at away stadiums. Dude
Derek-
hit. I think he was 31 and 30 and 31 or 32 and 30.
Derek is
away
like
home.
fun size down there. He could go hit one 312.
Come on.
I can hit one 312.
You could hit one 312, bro.
What am I taking?
Dude,
Wall, I'm pretty sure it's 314, champ.
oh, my bad. 2 feet. That's gonna make a whole. That's like one
I
Derek.
mean, it
right
would. Yeah, I mean, mathematically, that would change it.
there. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. But before we go, we just got to talk about. Check out TikTok at Couch Coach Media. We're
Check it out.
dropping in top 10 rankings at every position. Me and Connor splitting it up. I'm sure it'll be controversial. I'm sure Red Sox fans will come back for me, and Cubs fans. That one little dude in the comment section talking about like "Go Cubs, go!" Terrible theme song. The Red Sox fans came at me. I like embrace Boston. I love the Red Sox.
Yeah, you always root for them. You do.
I know it's like highly disrespectful that they're coming at me like that. Just because I trolled you about Devers and he signed 10 minutes after I trolled you.
I know.
It
And they were like,
happens.
"Oh, dude, Devers signed, Devers signed." I was like, "All right, we get it, man."
We check out the DH rankings. Will be the first one coming out tomorrow. Vinny Pasquantino gonna have
He's
a better.
on there.
He's gonna have a better season than Giancarlo Stanton. So check it out. There'll be some disagreements. It's healthy to have some disagreements. No one wants to watch a show where we're all saying, "Yeah, Derek Jeter's Hall of Famer." That's great TV.
It
It's
is.
great. We're authentic too. We believe in our takes. These aren't fake.
Right.
We're serious.
Right. Right. I mean, some people may think that Zach's takes are bad because of how bad they are, but they're
But
fake.
I believe him.
Right? It's like Skip Bayless. Like his takes are so bad, you're like, they gotta be fake. Like there's no way it's real. But no, Zach believes it, which
Let me
is
stay away
unfortunate,
from
but
that.
it's true.
Yeah, I'll distance myself from Skip. I'm just Zach
Yeah.
Musso, bro. I'm just Zach Musso. Let's just
Yeah.
give my team.
Yeah, you're second coming of Skip Bayless.
I'm more on the Stephen A side. I kind of like to troll. Skip's not really a troller. He's like, I don't know what he is.
He's
Stephen A, like,
awful.
Stephen A
Sucks.
just loves to troll. Like Steve, I don't even know if Stephen A has any favorite teams. His favorite team is whoever he can like make fun of is playing. So
True.
that's me, bro. That's me. Anytime the Yankees are playing anyone, I'll be there. Yankees, Tigers. Hobby Bias hitting 3 home runs off Garrett Cole. We'll see you in April.
All right, everybody. Listen, also everybody check out Derek's podcast, Derek's Discussions. Be sure to check that out. I'm sure
And
you would
don't
love
forget-
it. Many seasons you could cuddle up, get a blanket, get some tea, snuggle
Your
up in bed,
loved
put your
ones.
headphones in. We just listen to Derek's Discussions all night. That'd be great.
Yeah, and don't forget Derek's Buddies is coming out. We're gonna talk about it's not easy being 5'4". We're gonna talk about it. I don't know if Derek has the Riz, will be brought up a couple times.
I doubt it. I doubt he does, but maybe.
But the goal of the podcast, get Derek Riz. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Derek, would you have a closing remark?
I got nothing for the viewers out there. Just make sure to go check out Derek's Discussions. Episodes are up